Well, congratulations, everyone. You made it to topic 12 in the pursuit. And Tracy, today we're talking about how to use the tools at PursueGOD.org to become a disciple maker.
Yeah, we covered in topic one, way back in topic one, we talked about this picture of what it looks like to be a full circle follower. And over the last several weeks, you've learned about trusting Jesus and honoring God. And you've learned about this idea of becoming a disciple maker. And so now, here today, we get to talk about exactly how you can do that.
So let's start once again, Tracy, with the 3 E's. And we looked at this in week 1, but now it's time to dive into it a little bit more. At Pursue God, we've carefully crafted every category page on our site to help you move through the 3 E's with your family or with a small group or with a mentee one-on-one. So the first E is to engage someone in conversation.
Right. So you'll pick a category page. We'll show you one here in a minute. And you just start engaging someone in conversations on some of the featured topics you see right at the top of each category page.
And the idea here, Tracy, is to pick a category that matters to the other person. Don't just pick a category that you're interested in. Pick a category that you think would be interesting or helpful to them because you want to meet their needs and show them that you're trustworthy and you can help.
Yeah, it's really a time to build rapport and trust in that mentoring relationship because remember, eventually our goal is to get them to the pursuit where you really start to establish them in the Christian faith. But they may have needed some time to just wrestle with some life topics or emotions topics before they were ready to get into those faith topics that you find in the pursuit.
Yeah, so that second E then is to establish. And again, that's what this pursuit is all about. You bring them through this discipleship track to establish them in the full circle faith. And then the final E is empowering them once you complete the pursuit. Then you'll help them to go out and start discipling someone else, which, by the way, is exactly what's happening in topic 12. If you're going through this topic right now, you're getting ready to be empowered to help the next person.
Okay, so now that we've gone over those 3 E's again, let's see how those fit into an actual category page.
So, Tracy, let's start with the emotions page. This is one of our favorite ones to go through with our own kids or with someone at church because a lot of people don't understand what emotional health is all about.
Yeah, so if you look at this category page, you're going to see right from the top those featured topics. And we break those topics down into these subcategories like identity and emotional intelligence and fear and anxiety, grief, depression. And then we even have a series tab where we have some of our key series for that particular category listed for you right there. So this is a great place to start with someone by just engaging them in topics that would be of interest to them because who doesn't have emotions and who doesn't want to learn more about how to handle those in a healthier way?
And then you'll notice right on this page, once you've engaged them for weeks or months, you can just scroll right down. Every category page has an edition of the pursuit right on it. So you can establish them in the faith just by scrolling down the page.
And then we just want to highlight every category page also has a reference to flextalk.org, which is just simply the same idea of what Pursue God is. It just doesn't have the biblical foundation to it. It's just more about morals and character development, which could be a great place to start with an unbelieving neighbor or coworker who isn't ready for faith topics yet.
So Flex Talk fits into that engage step, especially for someone who's not ready for the Bible. Okay, so that was a quick tour of a category page, and you'll find similar results on every category on our site. So the next question people are going to ask is, are you sure I'm the right person to do this? If you don't feel qualified to make disciples, just answer these 2 simple questions.
So question number 1, have you trusted Jesus for salvation yourself? If you've answered yes to that question, then you've made it past level 1 of being qualified.
Now, the second question, maybe you've anticipated it by now, is just simply this. Are you honoring God in daily life? Because after all, we're talking about doing the third arrow, which is to help someone else pursue God. So the only real questions you have to answer are, have I trusted Jesus, the first arrow, and am I honoring God, the second arrow? And if you've done those 2 things, you're ready for the third arrow. Now, Tracy, let's just talk real quick about this question because some people might say, are you saying I have to be perfect?
No, we definitely don't have to be perfect. But what we would say is a person is not ready to be a mentor if they are actively living in a sin pattern in their life. And they've had people that have tried to call them out on that and to encourage them not to do that, and they continue to want to live in disobedience.
Right. So if that's you, I think you need to spend more time with your mentor and dive into that particular issue until you have victory in your life. And then you can come back to this and you can be empowered to go help the next person.
Yeah, and don't forget, God can use your story and your struggle to help somebody else. The point isn't to say you're disqualified forever, but the important thing is that you model a life that's disciplined and submitted to God's word.
All right, so let's finish up this discipleship track by talking about next steps. Tracy, if someone is ready to go out and make disciples, what do they do next?
We have 2 simple steps that we think you could take to get ready to be a mentor yourself, and your mentor can help you with these.
Step 1 is to make a list of people who could use your help and start praying for God to open the door to a mentoring relationship. So, Tracy, what kinds of people might make it onto your list?
So it might be a friend that I have in my life, a mom I sit next to at sporting events that's talking about some things she's struggling with. It could be my own kids, or it could be a woman that comes up for prayer at church that's just really needing some support.
Yeah, I wouldn't rush through this step. I think you really should prayerfully make a list because you'll always be adding people to that list and praying for those people for an opportunity to help them.
So if you have one person that's the top of the list, start with them, pick a category that you think would be engaging for them, simply send a link to that category page and invite them into a conversation.
Yeah, and I like that you said conversation. You're probably not going to invite them into a mentoring relationship. It might not be appropriate to say, I would like to mentor you or disciple you. You don't have to start with that language. Just simply say, hey, you want to talk about this? Because I know I struggled with this in my parenting or in my marriage or whatever. And I thought maybe it would be helpful if we have this conversation. And one conversation can lead to the next, to the next, to the next, and eventually they'll be ready for the pursuit.
Yeah, and don't forget that even as the mentor, you're going to be learning and maturing right along with someone that you're trying to engage. So even having the attitude and the invite of, hey, I'm smarter than you, or I'm further along in life or in the journey of faith than you, let me help you. Your ask is really about, hey, I thought of you in this. I know this is something I struggle with. Would you be interested in discovering some things about what God's word has to say on that topic?
And don't forget, we believe that the greatest thing you can do in life is to help someone pursue God. In fact, Tracy, we like to say the second greatest thing you can do in life is to help someone else pursue God. So it might be intimidating to think about discipling someone, but I promise you it will be worth it if you step out and do it.
So that's the how of how to use the Pursue God resources to go and help somebody else pursue God.
Now that you've finished all 12 topics in the pursuit, you might want to cover some additional training topics with your mentor. But in the meantime, look for someone else and help them pursue God.